Hi, I'm Twindle. I created this space for Twindle discussions. You've heard of TED Talks. Think of these as Twindle topics, real conversations, and real growth. So, let's talk about it. Today's topic, anger before gratitude. Not long ago, I found myself angry, real angry. I became stubborn and told God I wasn't going to ask for anything else. I would simply accept whatever was given to me. I was angry because my prayer wasn't answered, and I knew He could do it. I couldn't get over the fact that I had done everything I knew to do. I had prayed, I'd worked, I had shown up, I had put forth the effort. All I needed was for God to bless what I had already planted. Where was the fruit? Where was the harvest? The world tells us that if we do certain things, certain results will follow. Sometimes we read scripture and expect that if we do this, then God will do that. But what happens when it doesn't? What happens when the answer is no? Or not yet, or something completely different than what we expected? I was left searching for answers and looking for God in the middle of my disappointment. I was hurt and I was angry. I felt like God was watching and doing nothing. So I expressed my anger, and then I went back to work. As I reflected on my situation, all I could see was that I had lost. All I could feel was disappointment. But eventually, I had to go deeper. I had to look beyond what didn't happen and begin paying attention to what did. That's when I started to see how God had been showing up for me all along. I still didn't understand the why. I still didn't have all the answers. But I found gratitude. Because even when things looked bleak, He made a way. Even when I felt abandoned, He provided. Even when I was wandering through my own wilderness, He covered me. Sometimes gratitude doesn't come before the struggle. Sometimes gratitude comes after the anger, after the questions, after the disappointment, after we sat with the reality that life didn't go the way we planned. And maybe that's okay. Maybe God is big enough to handle our anger and gracious enough to meet us on the other side of it. Thank you for listening to another episode of Twindle Topics, real conversations and real growth.